Okay, I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to try to throw together a couple videos. I'll jump around a little bit on it. First thing I'm going to mention is that I'm making the eyepiece. This is what you see me going through when you see me making these videos on the moon. And I'm a digital collection of electromagnetic nanocarbon from the area we call the moon. This is the way I word it. And I used to use a shitty little Vivitar camera to do this. I just mounted on a telescope and it was fine, and then the kids broke it. You might hear me bitch about that. And so I went over to using the cell phones, but I never had it. It was always a pain in the balls to get it centered, and there was something else going on. And what I found that it was too far away from the actual lens. I could get away with it on the Vivitar camera. On this camera, it just wasn't going. So it may look brutal, what I did here. I kept cutting it up. I also filed down that eyepiece for the telescope. I filed it down because I had to make it past the light. The light is actually there underneath that thing. But I could just easily buy another cover later once I know how far down I gotta be in centered, and I can set this up nicer. But as I was fucking with it, I found out why this phone was fucked up anyway. It's the lens. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be the main issue. And then there's another issue where I one time charged it when it said it was overheating, and I was charging it while I was using it. So it probably burnt something up or whatever. But it's not gonna prevent me from pulling the imagery from the moon or anything else. So I'll be able to show you this as we go along. But I wanted to show people how I was mounting them, and what I'm going to give it a couple more tries and make sure I got it centered. And what I found was looking down through there was the easiest way. I kept trying to go through out here and center it and everything, and if it was a little bit crooked or a little bit anything, then it was fucking it up. So I found if I shine this light underneath there while I was, it's got a magnet on it, while I was doing it, it was actually better, and I could find the center better. I think we're going to find out in a few minutes. So one thing I want to just bring you through is I want to show you guys the equipment that I use and how cheap it is and how easy it is. These are $12 at Walmart. These are telescopic lenses. I got my filter kits, which I'm going to actually switch over to glass. I'm sick of the plastic. The plastics have just been getting scratched and foggy since I've been using them. And I noticed that any of them that I cut out of sunglasses or glasses even last a lot longer. And these ones here are good when they're brand new, but that's about it. So maybe I'll keep some brand new packages around. Wide angle lens, microscope to put onto the camera, and that's it, and covers and shit like that. And then these telescopes I have mentioned in past videos. That one there I bought at a tag sale for $10. That other one I did on a barter. I took it in on a barter for some body work I did on somebody's car. It's nothing expensive is my point about all this when I'm talking about this. Nothing's expensive. So when you see the videos that are going to be coming up on the moon, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have it. Let's see if I can set this up and show you this. All right. So once I have this mounted on here like this, then it's easy enough to slip into here, clamp it on. I still got all my buttons, everything's everywhere I need it to be. And you can see it, yeah. And you can see how easy that is to mount up to a telescope. And it's not too heavy for it, it works nice. And this makes it so that anybody can do it. It's for everybody. It's not just a NASA. It looks like the center is pretty good, actually. Let's see if we can, I don't know if I can make a good video and show you this or not. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I think I can explain this and show this. Okay, so I just have this thing aimed up at the trees up there. Okay, just aimed up at those trees. Okay, so what's happening is because this camera is so heavy, I got it pretty damn good to center now. See the, what you guys call a circle, which I don't like. But anyways, watch. So when I lift it up a little, I can bring it into the center even a little bit more. So what's happening is the offset. That's why the Vivitar was better. See, the Vivitar was centered and it was even all the way around. That's going to be the problem, but it's way better than what I had it. Look at the imagery in there too, by the way. So I'm fine now. This is good enough. I'm gonna glue the shit out of this, and I'm gonna leave it, and I'm gonna use it the rest of the month to go in on the moon. Cause look how good I got the center now. When I lift it up a little bit, so that's all I gotta do is pull on it a little bit, let the glue dry. I'll try to make it a little harder, and then we can start going in on the moon. And I'll have some really good moon videos this month for the West Coast Cat series. So that's it. That's how easy it is. There's no major investment. You know, you're seeing a lot of people out there saying you need, these $3,000 8-inch telescopes and all that. You really, people, you don't need it. The moon is not how far away they tell you. It's not 248,000 or 238,000, whatever their number is. They're just full of shit, and you'll be able to start seeing that if you just go look because. Okay, so you'll start looking through the telescope the same way that the flat earthers started realizing shit when they're on the ground looking away, 30 miles away, 40 miles away, with that other telescope, even 50, 60, 70 miles away, just with a shitty little telescope like that, depending on what your atmosphere was. If it was a shitty atmosphere day, then yeah, you're not going to get that far. But if you had some ground clearance from mountain to mountain and you're 1,100 feet up and you're looking over at another mountain that's, let's just say 40 miles away, that's also 1,100 to 2,500 foot mountain. But the trick is you can see all the way to the bottom of the mountain. There's something wrong with that picture. If you were only seeing the top of the mountain and you subtracted and figured out and used the calculator to figure out your distance and that 8-inch per mile square bullshit story and all that, it's easy to see. It's very easy to see that we've been lied to. So then when you take that same telescope from the mountains and that you're measuring mountain to mountain, now you got an idea of what 30 miles away, 40 miles away, 60 miles away, you got an idea of what it looks like through your particular telescope. Then what happens is you start following the moon again and tracking the moon, and you're realizing, okay, there's more atmosphere from me where I am now to that moon. Then on top of that, there's way more atmosphere on the ground than there is, I'm going from here to the moon. If the moon is really 238,000 miles away, I'm saying, right? Because 40 miles compared to 238,000 miles, got to be more atmosphere. Okay. Then the distance itself. So that's 40 miles away, that mountain, let's say, that you're measuring. And then this is supposed to be 238,000 miles away. So why is it that the size you see through the telescope? Because when you get to 60, 70 miles away, everything looks tiny, tiny, tiny. The trees look like, smaller than toothpicks. They look like tiny little fucking pins. Okay, so you get to realize sizes. Same thing that I'll show you. You'll start seeing for yourself. Like right now, I'm looking in at that tree. That tree's not even a half a mile away. Not even. Maybe, quarter of a mile away, the trees that I'm looking in at. I'm aiming at those back ones back there. But look, I can get in on the branches and I can focus it and get it real nice and everything, which you can do. We can all do this. This is not anything special, but it does make things, some bells will go off, some bells and whistles will go off here and there. And you'll be like, what the fuck is going on around here? When you start looking in at the moon with the same telescope, the same setup, the same distances, and you're going to say, what the fuck? Okay, so outside that window right there, I'm ready to go over to West Coast Cats and talk some moon stuff too. I'll see how I do in this video. At the same time, I'm going to make this a research video as well. And I'm going to start using this stone. So Patrick, you can throw me some feedback on what I'm about to ask you and talk to you about too that I'm going to do in this video. If you have a rock or a stone around your house, see I got one outside that window right there. There's a whole bunch of them. I got a bunch of them. I would suggest that maybe you and I could pick one stone just for, aside from all the other stuff we're doing with the stones and everything like that, just for a special little project that we could do. It's an easy experiment, to see stuff that I've never even tried myself, particularly, especially not on this stone, or I don't even think I ever tried it on rock, what I'm about to suggest to us. Okay. So the reason why I'm standing back here and talking about that stone is because that particular boulder, anytime those curtains are open and I'm looking at that particular stone and everything else around anyways, but the point is our subconscious. What is our subconscious picking up? Our subconscious picks up everything because I can see the imagery in the grass behind it. I can see the imagery in the stone. I can see the imagery in the trees behind it. But just on this one particular stone, just to give people an idea of how this really works and what's going on here, our ability to deny everything that we see, everything that's reality, how we're able to deny it, it's amazing to me. The psychological turnaround and the buildup of the lies necessary that all have to be bought hook, line, and sinker in order to bypass what's right in front of us. And as I've been learning more and more about the Metellus, it's making it even more clear to me. I'm so glad I found the EMNC first. I don't think I'd be able to face or even understand the Metellus the way that I'm understanding it if I did not find the EMNC first. And the denial of the Metellus, and even me doing the same thing now about the Metellus as I'm learning about it that I did with the EMNC. We go through this denial, and it's maddening. It's very hurtful to us, but because I'm conscious of it, I fight it, and I keep looking, and I keep saying to myself, nah, because if they never seen the EMNC, and neither did I, you know, if I never seen it either, I'm 50 years old, and I never wanted to see it, I guess, because it was always there. And then when you think about it, it was always in my subconscious, when I think about it anyways. But it's taken me a long time to come to the realization, because you keep saying to yourself, there's no fucking way, not millions of people upon billions of people could not miss this, you know. And you can only count the people, because the animals could be seeing it all and, you know, taking it for what it is, unlike we, you know. We're humans, we're very fucking intelligent. We have this thing called a mirror neuron manipulator, allows us to buy our own bullshit stories. And you have to believe your own lies in order to do all this. So my plan with that boulder over the next few videos, I'll probably end up taking me a few videos to do this. I'm going to go right up to it from every different angle, which I grabbed it from a couple different angles. It's going to be right there for me every time I want to do this. I'm just going to choose that stone. We'll do this throughout the series, Patrick, if you end up finding one that you want to do too. And you could just imitate what I'm about to do over whenever I have time to do these, I'm going to do them. And what I'm going to tell you is that stone is filled with fucking imagery, but there's nothing special about it. Nothing special about it at all. It's packed with fucking imagery. The imagery is banging in this fucking stone, but there's nothing special about it. It's the same as every other fucking stone. So what I'm going to do here and there is I'm going to throw a filter on it here and there. I'm actually making a research video right now as I'm talking to you through the glass. Don't even have to open the window and get cold. Don't need it to. I've got this stone from a couple other different angles as well. What I could do is grab my pointer and even bring you through some of these. Hold on a minute. Okay, and Patrick, you look like you got the eye to be able to do what I'm about to do also. You looks like you're already seeing a lot of things and able to see things. Pointing them out and stuff is going to still be difficult for you, so if you don't want to be specific about them, just let your eye catch them, and then just go with them like I'm doing here with the camera without pointing at it with the pencil. I've got a pencil in my hand now because I'm going to actually start pointing at shit. But you might not be ready for that, and I don't want you to lose your confidence, I guess, as far as collecting the CMC. Now, you might as well open the window. It's not that cold out. Okay, and I'm just moving the camera around because I'm seeing many images, so I'm going to start picking them out a little bit as I go. So now another thing that happens is from my eyes to the camera, I try to stay straight on to this screen that I got in front of me, because once I start angling things, I might be pointing at something, and then when I watch the video back, I can't even see the same. I'll see other images that I missed, but I'm not pointing at the images that I meant to point at, and shit like that'll happen. So let me let the camera adjust. I'm going to try to start at the bottom. I could crop. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to do it, if I'm going to crop and then move around or whatever, just to give you some basics, okay, just to bring your eyes around a few things. Eye, nose. There's several different ones going on here, so see if you're maybe what I'll do is I'll try to give you the eyes on some of them. Like there's another set of eyes over here, but I think I have to get over there in order to catch that angle. And I'll also throw a filter on. I always remember it's image within image within image. So like there's one image right here. Where's the larger one? There's one image right here. It looks probably on the feline. See the feline eye? And there's another feline eye here with a nose here, the mouth open here. So there's one there, but it turns in as I go along to several different images. Just like this other one. Just like this other one, I'm pointing at these two eyes here, but there's another eye here. So there's these two that are close together working an image that way, and then there's an eye here and an eye there to make this big nose with that big larger image. And I could probably crop them. Let's see. I'm just trying to crop it. I can't see it that good because my phone stuff's in the way, but I think I got it. Yeah, I can crop that one and give you that one. Up on the top of this rock there is a lot going on. Before I even started this video, I figured I'd give it a shot, and I'm looking at something now that I'm trying to see if I can get it to look fish, but it's not. You see how when I turn just turning the camera in this different direction, you'll pick up other imagery, and you'll see some of the imagery I was pointing at. You might see a little more clear. You might see the smaller one down here with the mouth here with an image, there. You might see this eye here and this eye here making up another face that's this way. See it with the tongue sticking out right here, nose right here. So eye, nose, tongue sticking out of something right there. Now, image within image within image down to the smallest little detail. So what I'm going to end up doing, there's a lot going on in here. What I will end up doing is I'll pull out the scope next, the telescopic lens, and the colored filter. Give me a second. Okay, so here's a red filter, same stone. Now you can kind of see what I mean by contrast. When contrast is added, some of the imagery will come in more clear for you. You'll see things a little more clearly because of the contrast. I'm cropping right now. I'm bringing you back and forth, and then I'll stop. Let you catch some of the larger ones. Get that one. I was trying to bring you. I'll try to point out that every angle, so I come up a little bit, catch a different angle. Lights and shadows, lights and shadows. Now you can see some of those a little. It's like a fucking cartoon. It's unbelievable. It's fucking unbelievable. It really is. But it's the system, man. It's the fucking system. It shows itself to us. It wants to be seen. We were supposed to be seeing it all along. It amazes me more that we all want to fucking just continue to be zombified and nobody wants to fucking wake up. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the top of the rock. I'll let my eyes adjust for a minute up here. And right here. Lights and shadows. See that bottom part for the shadow? I'm going to go in on some of these. fucking amazing. See, I'm not going to bother with down there because it's too dark down there for me. It's packed with imagery down there too. But again, I'm just trying to point out how to lights and shadows. There's no light back there really. Up here, I got lights and creating lights bounce off the rock and create these lights and shadows, which is packed with this fucking imagery. That's so easy for me to grab because it's right outside my window, which is why I'm saying if you got a stone that's really close to you, Patrick, and it's right around you, um, just use that, you know. I'm doing different distances. I'm bringing the camera up, bringing the camera down. I'm not pointing out a hell of a lot right now because I don't have to. I'm going to bring this behind the computer. This is going to be a research vid. So, you know, you could do the same thing. I'm more confident about it. I've been doing it for a year now, so I know I can point shit out. And if I have the camera aimed in the right direction, I know I can. What I'm doing is I'm offering people evidence when they see me point at shit and in this part of the video, the research vids, rather than just when I get it behind the computer, because then it's considered already tainted by digital pixery, which it is. It is. That's why I'm saying it's important everybody sees this with their own eyes. You can't just do it. Take others' words for it, you know, including mine. There's some up on top that I like a lot. There's some. There's like I don't know. There's a few faces. That one back there I like a lot, so I want to go in on that one when I get it back. I look at it all the time when I'm looking out the window and shit. But I never did this. I've never come in on it like this. So I'm just going to these different areas, let my eyes adjust for a minute. The red filter is helpful for me to show you. When I bring this back, I'll be able to show it to you more clearly. The one that I'm talking about that I like is this one right here. I know I see this face and that face, and I see a whole bunch of other shit going on, but just something about that one. And I don't even know what yet. Now that I'm going to go in on it, I might figure it out. Okay. So what we'll do, Patrick, is I'm going over this rock now like this, and then sometime in the next couple weeks or something, whenever I want to hit the next one, I'm going to use this same exact rock, the same exact area. Matter of fact, I might do the sides and stuff. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to do everything from right here so that I can use this exact video and this exact rock. If you got a similar situation, do the same thing. Because, like, I'll tell you what we're going to do is one day I'm going to come out here. Is that human? Is that? No, okay. One day I'm going to come back out and sprinkle it with cinnamon. Okay, the whole top of the rock, the whole top of that stone, everything that you're looking at now, I'm going to sprinkle cinnamon all over it, and then I'm going to either blow the cinnamon off. I'm gonna try different experiments with different shit, and this will give you a way to partake as well, because if you got something you want to throw out, because again, it's all lights and shadows is all we're going to be showing. We're going to be to ourselves, myself included, because I've done similar experiments like this, but not on a stone. And if I did, it wasn't on this stone. I'm trying to remember if I ever tried it on a stone or not, but I've tried it with many other things. So what you do is you just take your pick of other heavy metals and minerals that you want to dust over a certain area. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to see what enhances imagery, what will change imagery. So right now, this first video, this is just to get a handle on these images. It's a stone, it's a rock, the images will not change. So we take these images that we get out of this particular stone, as I'm doing what I'm doing right here, just an overview, 10 minutes. You don't even have to do it as long as I'm doing it, because I'm explaining shit and talking about stuff you might not want to. And and as I do, I'm doing every angle I can possibly do. Like, I can't go down under that rock and aim up, so I have to aim down. So I'll take what I can get. I know that every angle is going to change it. I know distances change it. I know all these things. So you obviously do too. You're going to start seeing it more and more. Um, and then another day, I'm going to come out and sprinkle this whole stone with all kinds of shit. One day it'll be cinnamon. Another day it might be turmeric. Whatever I've got that's not selling in my pantry or whatever. Another day it could be flour. And I might sweep it off and dust it off or something like that. That's going to be considered human influence. I might want to blow it off with something. Just come over with the blower, because what I'm doing, again, is trying to change up lights and shadows. And also light changes. This one's outside, so one day might be sunny, another day will be shady. So we'll still have changes in light. Clouds might be going by. Also add lights and shadows. Um, and then another day I'm going to come out and I'm going to do it from the top. Right now you see me grab this back. I'm going to go for this whole same area, but I'm going to do it looking straight down rather than at an angle like this. So that's going to also depend on what type of rock you have, what type of stone you have. And like I said, if you can pick one that's right there near your house, and if you don't even want it all, that's fine too. If you're going through a park or something like that, and you just find something that you want to do, go ahead and do it too. I'll take anything I can get. But this little experiment here, I thought would be fun, because we can do it from our own home. You know what I mean? You don't have to go anywhere to do it. You can keep an eye on it. We can experiment with it more. Okay, so next, hold on a minute.